Hello, my name is Yeji, otherwise known as ANdmadeco here on YouTube and on Instagram. Today I have a packed episode for you. I have 3 finished objects, 3 works in progress, as well as a few acquisitions. I want to just jump right into it. 2 of my finished objects were not finished this week, but it is the first time I can talk about it because they were secret testnets or testnets that couldn't be revealed until now. And that's because 2 of the designs are a part of the Puget Sound LYS tour of 2025. So what that means is I think there are 25 shops participating, and each shop has an original knitting and a crochet pattern that's available for free to download once you visit the shop during the tour dates, which is from May 14th to the 18th. And if you cannot visit these shops during these dates, I'm sure it'll be available on Ravelry, and it will also be available through the designer in a future date as well. So that leads us into what I'm currently wearing, which is my first finished object I'd like to talk about. And this is Brunch Crew by Michelle Frazetta. I actually knit this at the end of December. I think it took me only 5 days to knit, from the 19th to the 23rd of last year, so December. But it was a super fun test knit, and it was an engaging test knit, as are all of Michelle's test knits and her designs, and I really enjoyed the zigzag pattern of this. So just the details of this shirt are, it does go up to a 65.75 inch bust, so it is quite size inclusive. And I knit it with a US 6 needle, a 4mm needle, but the needle that's recommended in the pattern is a US 7, a 4.5mm needle. And I think Michelle in general is a tighter knitter than I am, because I find myself sizing down for some of her patterns at times. The yarn I use for this is Cascade Ultra Pima in the color Big Girl Pink, and it's this bright fuchsia purple pink color. And I use 2.75 skeins of it. It is a DK weight, and I knit the size 2. So it isn't super cropped, but I would say that it is cropped, and it is a t-shirt, so it didn't take as much yarn. I really enjoy wearing this, especially with this season, because it is a DK weight, so it does feel thicker, but it is cotton with some holes, lace detailing in the zigzags, so I don't find it warm, especially on a breezy day like today. The pattern was super well written, even on the first pass, and I love the short row for the back before you start joining in the round or even doing any of the shaping. It is a raglan construction. You do German short rows in the back, but the zigzag pattern it starts from the back, so it's really nice that the back is raised. It has a really nice round neck to it, or a crew neck as Brunch Crew, and I really enjoy wearing it. I also appreciate that the sleeves aren't too long, but they're also not too short. Being a t-shirt, I really like the length that it fits on my arm, and from everybody I've seen, all the test knitters, everybody's version turned out so beautifully. And so it was really nice to be a part of that and see everybody's progress as well. I know that Michelle said she'll be at Needles and Hooks, which is where you'll be able to find this pattern, on the 17th, which I think is the Saturday of the tour if you are in the area. And hopefully I can make it out to Needles and Hooks. It's further up north than where I am. And so I'm undecided on the schedule or how many shops I'll even be able to visit, but we're going to try making it to as many as possible with our kids and the schedule. I know that my husband took Friday off, so I hope to make it to some of the shops that day as well. So if you are in the market for a fun knit tee with some interest but also some stockinette, then I would definitely recommend this pattern. And I will keep you updated on where you can find the pattern once the tour is over. My second finished object I don't have here to show you, and that is because I lent it to Emily to hang at the Tea Cozy Yarn Shop. So it is a pattern by Laura McLean. It's called the Eos Slipover for Tea Cozy Yarn Shop, and I think it's pronounced Eos and not Eos. It's EOS. I knit the size 2, and mine was kind of tight on me. It did have a little bit of negative ease, but I also really enjoyed the fit. It was a cropped tank top, or it is a cropped tank top, and I enjoyed making it. It doesn't have moss stitch on the back, and that was my main modification, is that I also added the moss stitch on the back. The original pattern has moss stitch and the lace detailing on the front, and then the back is just plain stockinette, but I decided to carry the moss stitch all the way to the back just for the continuity of the tank top. And it does go up to 70 inches, so it might be the most size inclusive pattern I've ever knit. And I knit it with Kelbourne Woolen's Mojave, which is a 60% cotton, 40% linen yarn in the color 315 Cactus Green. And I only needed 2 and a bit, so 3 skeins of this. And this comes in 50-gram balls for 185 yards each. Another fun thing I wanted to mention is that certain yarn will be on sale at certain shops during the LYS yarn tour. And I know for a fact that Kelbourne Woolen's Mojave will be at a 10% discount at Tea Cozy Yarn Shop. And I think Kelbourne Woolen's Scout, which Emily also made her version in, and I think she made the other one in Hedgehog Fiber, so that might be on sale as well. So it's another incentive, I guess, for people to go check out the shops. I know that I really liked working with Mojave. It has the same content in that it was 60% cotton, 40% linen as the Ritual Dyes Undine, but I think the Kelbourne Woolen's one is slightly softer. I am looking to get a few other colors. I know that the Mojave comes in really bright colors. I think there's a very bright yellow, a very bright blue, so I might be checking some of those out as well. For the Eos Slipover, there is also a crochet detail for the neck, which I didn't do. I just did a plain ribbing, but I also added an elastic for both the arms as well as the neck to cinch it in, as this is a plant-based yarn, so it didn't have some of that elasticity that wool yarns would have. I am looking forward to wearing the Eos Slipover once I have it back. I really enjoyed the diamond detailing as well as some of the lace patterning inside, and although I don't enjoy ribbing, I like doing the moss stitch all around. I really like how it looks, how it fits. I will definitely wear it on one of these episodes later on during the summer. Those are my 2 finished objects that I wanted to share or have been wanting to share, but I couldn't until now, and I'm finally able to. I am looking forward to what other patterns there are with the other shops. I know that at Needle and Hooks you'll have the Brunch Crew, and at Tea Cozy you'll have the Eos Slipover, as well as for the crochet pattern. I know for Tea Cozy it is a fish and a fish pouch, which I think looks really interesting too. So I would definitely check it out if you can and if you are in the area, but if you're not, don't worry. Of course, I will share as much as I can on where you can find these patterns after the tour is over. My next finished object is the one that I finished this week, and it is Vertices Unite by Stephen West. I know I said I was going to work on 1 section a week. I had just started the 4th section, but after I was finished the 4th section, it's quite small. So I went to the 5th, and when I was on the 5th, I was like, oh, might as well finish until the 6th and just wrap it up with the I-cord edging, and so that's what I did. It is a really big shawl. It blocked out really nicely. This is superwash yarn. It's 80% superwash, 20% nylon. And the yarn is Frankie Gray Fibers Hybrid Knit Along Kit in Midnight Fade. I made the large size for the Stephen West shawl with the recommended needle, which is a US 4, a 3.5 millimeter needle. And I used the faded yarn, so it is quite monochrome. I'm really happy with how it turned out. I'll have clips of me holding it up because I don't think I'm doing it justice by holding it up like in pieces, but I wanted to mention that I really enjoy the back as well. The back striping is really pretty, I think, in how it turned out, and I like the drape of the overall shawl. It isn't too heavy, but I really like how it looks, how it feels. When I was blocking it, the darker portions, like the darkest and the 4th darkest portion, did bleed quite a bit of indigo-ish, purple-ish blue dye into the water, but I don't think there was any bleeding into the lighter colors. Not that it would have really mattered because it is a fade, so I don't think you would have been able to see, but I did also do the I-cord edging with the 3rd color, and I'm really happy with that. So I will show you the yarn. So I have all the details of how much of each color I used in my Ravelry if you are interested, but these are the colors I used. I used the darkest one the most, and this is how much is left from 100 gram skeins, 5 of each 100 gram skeins. And I was really happy with just how it turned out, how much yarn it used, because I didn't want to have too much yarn left over, but I think this was a good amount, and I really enjoyed this fade. I wasn't sure about pairing these two together or even the lightest two together, but I did pair the lightest two together for the stripe on one of the sections. Sorry, the yarn is hard to manage, but I did pair the lightest two together for the 5th section, and I think you can still see the stripes. Although when I was knitting it, because it is a tonal, so it's darker in some places, lighter in some places, for the 2nd color especially, so I wasn't sure, and I just had to make sure that I was actually striping the two. I think that it looks really nice on this side, and then from the other side, because it's the wrong ridges, it looks almost marled in, faded in together. And I really think this is one of those shawls where it doesn't really matter if it is flipped the other way, because the other side is stunning as well. I do enjoy how a stripe like this looks as well. As I said before, I'm not really a shawl wearer, but I do have a friend who is super knit worthy. She's the one I sent the Sophie scarf to before, and so I am excited to send it off her way, and hopefully she enjoys wearing it at the office or wherever. Vertices Unite was one of those patterns where even after the 871 stitches I think I had for the I-cord bind off, even after that, I thought that I would want to make another one and cast it on pretty soon, which I probably won't because I don't have the perfect yarn for it, but I really enjoyed making the different sections of the patterns, and I really liked the fact that I did take it slow in the beginning and I didn't rush into it, which means that I also didn't burn out. So I am just so happy with how that project has turned out, and also the fact that I am well on my way to finishing items on my Make 9, and that crosses off the 5th item of my list. I'll have the checked box here, and I cannot be happier with the progress I'm making on it. So speaking of Make 9s, we'll lead into works in progress next, and I am making the Colette Tee by Sari Nordland. I'm making it with Noro Sonata in Catmint, as I said I would last week, and I have joined the fronts, and now I have to just knit the front and then to join in the round. But it is a t-shirt, so it should go by pretty quickly. I really enjoy this pattern. I like the yarn. It is a single ply, so it does get kind of fuzzy, and I'm hoping that it won't pill, but I am really liking working with the yarn so far, and the colors are really beautiful. This pattern is really fun in that most of it is ribbing because the row count between the two cable sections are quite large, but it isn't completely mindless because you have the eyelets and you have different sections always coming up. And in total, I'll probably only do 4 of these cable repeats like Sari has done in her pattern or in her photo. And so I know exactly where I am in regards to the whole garment. This does have more drape than my first version, which is why this is a redemption piece in my Make 9, because my first Colette Tee doesn't have much drape because of the yarn I chose. So just into details, I am making the size 3 for this. I was debating on a size 2 versus 3. I think 2 would have given me 8 inches, 3 would have given me 12 inches of positive ease according to the pattern. But a lot of people also found that their gauges were tighter than Sari's, so what that means is they would probably have to size up, and I found that although last time I made a size 4, the measurements were smaller than that. So I am hoping that this will have plenty of drape and plenty of ease. When I checked recently on Ravelry, I think the Colette Tee only had 100 something, or maybe in the low hundreds of projects. I thought it had thousands of projects for some reason. Maybe in my head, it just seemed like it would be a very popular pattern because I liked it so much. But I am having a lot of fun with this pattern, and it is very well written. Another thing I wanted to say is I did buy new needles. I bought just fixed circulars, but these are the Lantern Moons, and these are wooden needles. And I bought this because I've been knit-fluenced by Korean YouTubers. A lot of the Korean YouTubers seem to enjoy using the Black Lantern Moon needles in particular. So I bought the US 4 3.5 millimeter needle in, I think this is a 32-inch cable, and it is a swivel cable. I've been so loyal to my Chow Goose because I've had some issues with other fixed cable needles that I bought in the past where the yarn would catch on the joint each time, and I was very annoyed. I haven't had that issue with this, so I'm really happy about that, and I can see why people like this, especially with a plant-based yarn or mostly a plant-based yarn such as the Noro Sonata. I think a wooden needle maybe makes more sense, although I do miss the sharpness of the steel Chow Goose when I do have to do the yarn overs and the knit two togethers. But the lantern moon gets the job done, and I'm really happy to have this needle. I've also been wanting to make some different types of videos, so I started doing a project vlog on the Colette Tee and my process of making it. So hopefully you'll have that to look forward to if I don't delete the footage in a few weeks. For the project vlogs, I'm kind of worried about the audio because I don't have a mic for those, and so we'll see. But it is something that I am trying to do, is to expand on more of the content that I make than just these weekly episodes. My next work in progress is a test knit, and this is for Cookie the Knitter, who is a Korean lady living in Italy. And Jimin, that's her name, she put out a test call for this vest, which is called the Bomnal round neck. And so it is a cabled vest, but Bomnal means spring day in Korean, and I think she has a v-neck version that's already out. And so I have done the collar before I finish the body, and I think I'm going to do the sleeves, or just the ribbing on the sleeves first, and then see how long I want to make the body from then, because the ribbing on the sleeve, as it cinches in, it also does or can change the length of the vest. This I'm making with the Fiberco Suro, and the Suro, every time I use it, I'm so happy. It's like touching a really soft animal, and it's, I think, 40% alpaca, 40% cotton, and 20% wool, and it is so beautiful. It's my first time using Suro on its own. I'm not holding it with anything to make this a very light vest. This is knit on a US 7, a 4.5mm needle, so it's almost holey, but I think when it's over your body or over a t-shirt, then you wouldn't be able to tell. And I just wanted something that I could wear for the spring over a t-shirt where it'll be very light and airy. I've only used just over 50 grams of the ball, and I've only had one and maybe 80% of one, so I'm happy that I won't need any more. It's going to be less than 100 grams for the whole garment, which is amazing. The meterage on the Fiberco Suro is amazing. The colorway for the yarn is the Fiberco Suro in Seraphic, and this has been a pleasure to test knit so far, and by next week I'm sure it will be done, so I'll definitely talk into how it fits and everything and show it to you on my body then. I am test knitting a size medium, and I think the pattern will go up to a 55-inch bust. And I'm really happy to have the project in my ice bath dyed tea cozy bag. And speaking of tea cozy bags, in this bag I have my final work in progress, and this work in progress has been in this bag since last December, or this past December, and so I am finally able to use this bag once again as I'm working on the project, and that makes me very happy. And the project I'm talking about is the beginnings of my Dagmar jacket, yet again, by Petite Knit. I think I was only here last time, so what happened with this is that I left it and I didn't really want to work on cabling this winter, I guess, and so it was just sitting there. And then Maddie from By a Thread Knits said that she was making a Dagmar jacket, so I suggested we knit it together, and so we're doing a knit along with each other. And I am so excited because Maddie was able to come over, and she just got started on hers, but I think she had to rip hers back, and I was a little bit into mine, and then I continued working on it that day, and I just love it. I think just the cabling on this yarn, this is the Cascade 220 in the color 9560. I think it's called Liberty Heather, but it's a navy with red in it, and it is so nice to knit up. I really like how it looks, and I really like how the cables are working up, and the Dagmar jacket has quite a bit of positive ease. So Petite Knit, I think, designs all of her patterns up to 150 centimeters, which is 59 inches, and I am making mine in a size 2 though, because I didn't want as much positive ease was suggested in the pattern. I think this will give me maybe 6 to 8 inches, which would be a better fit for myself personally for what I'm currently looking for in this Dagmar jacket. And I am so excited to just be working on this. It hadn't been a priority, but I think after I finish the test knit and then I also finish my Colette Tee, then I will definitely focus on this project. Knitting this pattern on this Cascade 220 yarn was like a breath of fresh air. I really enjoyed it. I forgot how much I enjoyed it, and so it was really nice. I think I built it up in my head that the cabling was a little bit more complex than I wanted to at the time, but it really isn't, and I am enjoying the process of it. What I like to do for cables is put a stitch marker for the last cable row that I did and then count up from there so that I don't have to use a row counter or anything, because a lot of the times I forget to click the row counters. And this pattern is also knit on a US 7, a 4.5mm needle. As I make more progress on this, I will definitely show you and keep you updated. But I'm really excited to be making something with Maddie. She's making hers in a brown color. She's using, I think, Lions brand Fisherman's Wool in Nature's Brown, and that's a yarn that I've used before. It's really rustic, it's beautiful, but I'm also excited to make mine. So those are all my works in progress. Speaking of Maddie by Thread Knits, when she was coming over to my place, she asked me if I was interested in some yarn that her former nanny baby's grandma had given to her and she probably wasn't going to use, and of course said yes. And so she brought these over, and so these were gifted to me by Maddie, and I will show you what I have. So first I have these. I have 2 blues and a pink, but the blues are different brands and they're different colors. And these are all from a store called Village Yarn and Tea, which I think is a yarn store that used to be in the U Village area, which is near University of Washington. I think they've since now closed, but I thought that these would be perfect if any of my friends are having babies. I think her former nanny baby's grandma also said that she used to make a lot of baby items out of these. These are all superwash yarns, so I know they'll be perfect for that kind of item. And so I decided to take these because I'm at an age where more of my friends are thinking of having children or are having children. So it would be nice to make them some hats or other items that you can make with 50 grams. These 2 are a brand called Scholerstall, which I've never heard of, and it's Limbo Superwash. And this one is, I'm not sure of the brand it's covered, but it's called Baby Night. It says that it's finest from Italy, created exclusively for Cascade yarns. So that's interesting. And so I have these 3. And she also brought me this, which is Cascade 220 Superwash. And it is in the color 849. It's a very cyan bright color. And it's 100% superwash wool. And I thought I could also make something with this, like a hat, and gift it to a friend. And this one isn't superwash, but I really enjoy these colors. This is Cascade Yarns Quattro, and it is in the color 9435. I am looking forward to making maybe a pair of mittens or more hats with this yarn and gifting it as well. I know one of my goals has been to make more accessories, and although I've been more garment focused recently, I've just been knitting what makes me happy, and I think that knitting with this yarn will make me very happy. This is 100% wool. And this Maddie bought herself. It wasn't gifted to her, so this is a gift directly from Maddie. And so this is Let Lofi, thank you, and it is 1702. This is the yarn that I made my husband's port jacket in, and I really like using it for jackets and jacket type items. So I have 5 of these, and I think I might go to Tea Cozy or any of the other shops that carry Let Lofi and see what colors I can also pair with this to maybe make a jacket with it, or to make another jacket with this yarn. And my next item I won in a giveaway, and I won it from @KnitSocksForSam, and I'll have everybody linked below. Knit Socks for Sam is started by a boy named Sam, and he has vanishing white matter disease. And so when I posted my video of what I knit in 2024 accessories version, and I had a pair of socks there where I was going to just donate because I didn't like how they turned out, at Inspired by Fiverr, also on Instagram, she sent me a message suggesting that I send it to @KnitSocksForSam because Sam was collecting hand knit socks and mismatched hand knit socks so that he could auction them off and raise money to raise awareness for vanishing white matter disease. I didn't realize there was a giveaway when you sent a sock in, and I won, which was really surprising to me, and it was such a nice surprise. I won this, which is the Grand Shetland Adventure Knits by Mary Jane Mucklestone and Gudrun Johnston. So the photography in here is all from Shetland, I think, and this page, which I think is where they're sitting at the back of the book, as well as a page like this with the knit here. This book was published by Lina Publishing, so you know that the photography is going to be really good. And as you know, I love color work, so that vest or something like this, which is called the Fleur's cowl, it really calls to me, and so I am so happy. I want to just flip through it and make a pattern from this book as well. So I just realized none of the acquisitions in this portion were bought by me. I think this week I only bought the Lantern Moon needles, and they were all gifted to me. This bag was gifted from my husband for Mother's Day, and this is the cottagecore bag by Rose and the Wren, and it's a drawstring bag, and I love it so much. So what happened was I made him set an alarm because I really wanted the tulip bag, but the tulip bag sold out in 3 minutes, and he couldn't get his information in the at checkout fast enough for him to buy this bag. So he instead bought the cottagecore one, and I'll let him know when the tulip one comes back in stock because I did message Jane about it. I still want it, but this bag is also so pretty. I love the colors and I love the detail of this bag. The back also is so beautiful. And the material in the lining is also smoother than the material on the outside, so none of my yarn catches. This is where I have the Colette Tee right now, and I just am in love with all of Jane's bags from Rose and the Wren. I cannot recommend her brand and her bags highly enough. All right, so that was pretty packed. I think I flew through some of these items. If you do have any questions at any time, then please feel free to message me either on Instagram or here as a comment on YouTube. And I will see you next week. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you can. And thank you for watching. Bye.